Hey everyone. It's Jacqueline and I'm back. This is funny because this is our third third time talking in a row. We had an initial convo just to like fucking have girl chat. And then we started to record, except Robin was on her cell phone and I didn't realize this recording app apparently hates cell phones. And so now we're on a laptop and we're trying third time's the charm. But we were talking about gambling, and that's honestly the reason that sparked the conversation. I know Robin through recovery shit. And I say recovery shit. It's
We
just
love
a
that we're
good
done.
generic in case anyone gets offended. It's the fucking umbrella of the recovery world. But I've known her for a while, and I had posted something on my social media about how I like to gamble and I do like harm reduction style gambling. And I was like, back when I was ambitious in December before a lot of bad things started to really happen, I was like, would anyone be curious or would want to watch like a harm reduction, like gambling YouTube channel, especially like as a woman, because there are channels that exist like that and I do watch them, but I don't necessarily see them as focused on like harm reduction or like how to like rules or like how the games actually fucking work and perceived progressives and all of that shit. So
Mhm.
Robin then commented and she was like, yeah, I actually know a lot about gambling shit and I had no idea this was a part of her story. So I was like, yeah, I'd really like to talk to you about this because A, you're a woman, and B, you fucking get it, and C, you would
Yeah.
understand the dopamine piece. Because one thing I also mentioned on our last recording is that in the recovery space, a lot of our stuff is really centered around like substance use, mental health. Gambling is the fringe topic that is like in the Venn diagram, but not discussed, so to speak,
Right.
unless like someone did have a problem with gambling. But the other part too is that I think a lot of people within the recovery space are, even if they enjoy gambling, are afraid to even talk about that because it's an addictive, whatever it might be. So I was even mentioning to her how like it's very, even sometimes when I say like, oh, I'm going to a casino or I'm going to go gamble, I still feel some bit of judgment or shame or something just because I people will just automatically assume I have a problem, I'm digging into my savings, blah blah blah, whatever. So, that is a long way to say that we're going to fucking talk about gambling and I'm sure we'll talk about other shit too. So, if you want to have a discussion or want to listen to a discussion about it, it's going to evolve, but let me introduce Robin. Tell us where you're from. And then I asked her this as well. What is your current hyper focus dissociation tactic for this time in our lives? Yeah.
Thanks, Jacqueline. All right, take two. And you just missed the snowplow again. So,
Oh, yeah.
my name
There
is
was
Robyn
also a
Hantelman.
snowplow. Sorry, my
Snowplow,
bad.
and he's back on cue. It's like, oh, we missed you. So it's like, yeah, he knew. He knew it was going to
You
happen.
know.
So, my name is Robyn Hantelman. I am a person in long-term recovery. That's my formal introduction. Which is the way that I usually talk about myself and start things like this in circles here in Richmond, Virginia, which is where I live, work, and recover and do life with my fam. My current hyper focus, let's just go right to that because I love this. I started trying to make things. Like, I like to be able to dig into something, completely check out, tune the world out, but also
Yes.
have a product,
Yes.
have something to show for my little time away. And plus gifting, like we said, the first time,
Hmm.
gifting is a love language, and it's how I
Yes.
show people that I love them, or how I show me that I love me too.
Yes.
I have started really getting into long looms and round looms as far as loom knitting. And people who are actually, it's kind of a great metaphor because people who are doing, like, real knitting, my knitting is real too. I'm actually making real
Hmm.
things, real scarves, real hats, but
Right.
people who are knitting with needles and things like that are they often look at the loomers like, "Hmm, that's kinda
That's
half-assed," but
so weird.
odd thing. Why is there
Why is there
always this
judgment everywhere?
breakdown in every community? It's like, "Oh, well, that's not real recovery. That's not real knitting."
That's
Like,
not real,
get
Lumi.
it.
God,
What are you doing? You're taking a shortcut. You're supposed to suffer when you
Jesus
knit.
Christ.
No, I don't wanna
Exactly.
suffer.
You should
I
stab
I
yourself
want
with your needles nonstop.
yes, it's supposed to hurt. Like, I don't know. I don't wanna hurt. I just wanna make a hat. So I will get, like, real nice, soft, fuzzy, like, sparkly yarn. I have this yarn that I love. It's a tweed yarn, but instead of
Oh,
like
yeah.
a tweed can be, like, not nice to touch. It's got, like, a sparkly, soft thing in it.
Okay.
So when it makes, like, a tweed pattern, but it's really soft and it has some sparkle to it too. So I make hats and scarves and, um yeah, mostly that. Anything I can put a button on or a pom-pom on it, basically.
And I
Um, and I'll also take some my son got me into making bracelets and things too, like you
yes.
exchange at, like, Taylor Swift concerts or our personal favorite, AJR concerts. My son is a huge AJR fan. Yay, neurodivergent kids on stage singing, doing cool stuff. But they exchanged these bracelets. So we're making bracelets now for the Walk for Peace monks that are coming to our city in, like, 6 days.
I love I love that. I love that so much, and one thing we had mentioned on our prior recording is how I really love we're both very creative people, and I really love to make gifts for people. I would do it all the time. And then when my brother died and no one fucking showed up for me, and I was already a people pleaser, I was like, fuck all of you, none of you get gifts. And so I just stopped doing gifts for people because I needed my own boundary of like, hey, I have shown up for all of you people and then none of you did. And so now I hate all of you and nobody gets anything. So only in the last year have I been back in the mode where giving a gift to someone doesn't feel like I have to earn something, you know? Like, because I felt like gifts were, "Here's my worth, here's my worth, here's my worth."
"Please love
So
me."
now exactly, "Please love me, can you love me?" Now it's, "I was thinking of you, this is kinda fucking random, but here you go."
Yeah.
So and that's honestly, to me, that's my favorite type of gift giving and receiving is, "I just thought of you," like, that's always gonna be, like,
Yes.
one of my favorite things. And especially like you had mentioned, like it's nice to have if you took time away to do things, because sometimes we still also feel guilty taking time away from anything to do something just for us, to have a physical product is such a dopamine hit. And another dopamine hit is if you, like, win a jackpot or win money, or it can be the biggest fucking non-dopamine hit, and, I think that's the difference between the dopamine levels too, is that when you're doing crafts, it's a slow dopamine roll, and then you're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And then gambling, it can be very fast and very furious and, a lot, but one thing that we had started to discuss before snowplow showed up and all the things showed up was, in regards to gambling, was gambling something that you had always enjoyed doing and then using substances made that worse, or is it something that substances, then gambling and all of that? So we had kinda got into that, but we will start again.
Hmm. Well, let's try to pick it up back then, and we'll take it back to, like, the '80s. Take it back I love the '80s, by the way. Um,
Yes.
it reminds me, like, that I learned to gambling was just integrated into everything we did as a kid. It was so
Mhm.
normalized, more so than even, like, alcohol or drugs or anything like that. I remember my father teaching me how to play Texas Hold'em and
Yep.
Omaha and different
Mhm.
card games using candy as collateral. So he would, empty his pockets with, like, M&Ms and Tootsie Rolls and the occasional blow pop or something like that, and we are betting and raising and doing, checks and raises and things with
Yeah.
the biggest motivator in my 8-year-old life, which was sugar.
Yep.
So you win the jackpot, you rake the pot, and there's just
Uh-huh.
all this candy there. It's just amazing. And my parents very much were the lottery became a thing in Virginia about that time, Virginia lottery. And we were all part of another subculture of volunteer rescue squad people out in BFE, Virginia. And everybody would go to, like, the local convenience store on the weekends and wait for a call and sip coffee and scratch tickets,
Yep.
and we didn't have, like, pull tabs or Keno or any of that stuff that would come along a little later,
Mhm.
but it was a way to connect and belong and socialize while also getting that little, "Ooh, I just won $2. I just won
Right.
$6. Yay." And you put it right back in, and it becomes your entertainment. And that's all great because you and I have said this before, Jacqueline, like, people wanna feel good. We
Yeah.
want to be able to relax. We wanna be able to
Yes.
unwind. We wanna be able to reward ourselves for a job well done. We like to
Right.
get that reward back, and we like to connect with other people. We're built for that. So, it was just natural that if I see this thing, then I do this thing. And I
Mhm.
was very competitive growing up, long before I ever sampled a substance. In fact, I didn't do any substances, regularly in high school. I feel like that's another way I'm sort of on the fringes of the recovery community, traditional
Yeah.
recovery, because people tell stories and they are like, "Well, I started using substances in middle school, and I tried this substance and that substance at this young age," and I'm like, "Well, I went to college and then all hell broke loose, basically."
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I was a goody kid. Like, I was a little EMT at age 16, and I was, not even doing a whole lot of risk-taking behavior. I guess, in
Yeah.
a way, EMS sort of satisfied that. The
Yeah, that's
lights and
true.
the sirens
Mhm.
and the jumping and running calls and being there, and, like, what bigger capital do we have than our lives and our health? So I'm helping
Right.
people get their capital back, and, that's a very satisfying thing to deliver a baby or save a life or do CPR when you're
Absolutely.
a teenager and you don't know how to, like, have a conversation.
Right, right.
So I think that I have always had this inner competitiveness. I've always had an
Mhm.
inner drive to get that satisfaction hormone flowing through my brain and having a job well done, like getting awards and medals. And then there's the rank of like
Yep.
rescue squad stuff. And that was kind of my original addiction, per se. Like anything I could do compulsively to my own detriment is
Mm.
something I can be absolutely wrapped up in.
Mhm.
I didn't actually really get wrapped up in the world of what I would consider problem gambling, and this sort of follows the trajectory of my substance use. I went to college and I called it competitive drinking, like,
Yeah.
drinking games, flip
Mhm.
cup and boat
Flip cup.
races
Yep.
and all kinds of stuff. I was the
Uh-huh.
queen of all that. I could do
Me
a keg stand for 32 seconds, I was everything. I had to be the best and the
Yep.
biggest and the brightest. And then I took my big fish, small pond mentality from my hometown to a larger university where I was a schmedium fish in a very, very, very big, loud, competitive,
Yeah.
overstimulating pond,
Yeah.
and started drinking then. And then you throw in trauma and you throw in the need to have more satisfaction, more serotonin, more dopamine, more oxytocin,
Yep.
more, 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 more. And before I knew it, I got through multiple degree programs, some by the skin of my teeth, some I did very well.
Mhm.
I got through grad school with, playing the lottery and just different things, and casual use of, like, stimulants and cocaine and things to
Yeah.
study all night. So, it was just always a
Yeah.
means to an end, a means to an end. So, I'm an adult in my 30s here in Richmond trying to figure out what I wanna be when I grow up, and I'm working toward, I never did get licensed, but I have a graduate degree in counseling
Cool.
and was working my way through, like, counseling jobs and family therapy, and I was working for, like, the military for a little while, working with, Gold Star families. Still that
Mm.
urge to, like, fix and help and
Yes.
repair and
Mhm.
getting a great deal of satisfaction from that, but I also like money, and a lot of people don't
Yeah.
get into counseling to get money.
Hell no.
So I
Mm-mm.
took a little job, well, I'd taken some jobs as, like, bartending and things on the
Yeah.
weekends and gigs and stuff like that, that people do, like, gig work to pad my pockets and pay my rent, and around that time, like, early to mid 2000s, like 2003, 4, 5, here in Richmond, this whole concept of playing poker in a bar became a thing,
Yeah. I
like
remember,
free
like,
poker
Texas
league.
Hold'em was, like, huge mid-2000 because I remember my brother is the person who got me in to learn Texas Hold'em because he also taught my sister how to play so he could get better, and my sister was, like, I don't know, fucking 10
She's
or
like,
whatever it was,
where's
but
the candy?
yes, it took over everything. I remember that. Mhm.
And this is another place where, like, we've talked about Mark and stuff before, and I'm like, Mark and I would have been really good
Yeah.
friends. Like,
Yeah.
we would have
Mhm.
been very good
Yes.
friends.
I agree.
Because I'm bartending at these different bars and stuff, and I decide to sit down. The person I was dating at the time was like, "Hey, they're gonna start like a poker league here. You wanna play?" And I was like, "That's not really my jam. I don't think
Yeah.
it's really my thing, but I'll just sit and watch." And then they make it a learning thing, and then I realize it's a competitive thing.
Yep.
You
Mhm.
have my attention. So I played enough little tourneys and won here and there, and there's always
Cool.
beginner's luck with that too.
Yeah.
And I pulled down a few things where I won gift certificates or I won my bar tab, which is always cool when your bar tab is.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah.
So the owners of this league decided, "Hey, you're pretty good at that," because people who might get knocked out of a tournament would stay and deal. And I'm
Ah, got
I'm
it.
pretty
Mhm.
adept and I like to do tactile things. And I would always volunteer to deal or, like, stack chips and do things
Yeah.
like that just to be around it and learn the game so I could be better than everyone else. So they
Uh-huh.
gave me a job dealing and working for the league, which meant that I would travel around. I picked up a shift or 2 a week for maybe a month or so, and then I
Okay.
was running, like, 6 games 6 nights a week in
Wow.
bars. So I would work from 8 to 5 as, like, a real adult and then go to the bar, get there by 6, set up the game to start at 7, shuffle up and deal, and we're doing 2 or 3 rounds of games that probably lasted till midnight, 1 AM.
No
So
shit.
I'm at the bar, I'm drinking, I'm doing this. The story of my opioid use kinda came in there with, I was diagnosed with a couple of chronic, painful, icky things and
Mm.
had some injuries and stuff that were just cumulative, and I was prescribed opiates about that time too, which is a great capital when you're in the bar environment too.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
everything just kinda went hand in hand, but I was looking for something, Jacqueline. I was looking for something. I was
Yeah.
looking for to get my bills paid. I
Mhm.
was looking to connect with people because I love people. I
Yeah.
do love me some people most
Yeah.
of the time. I was looking to be appreciated and valued for something. I was looking for a way
Mhm.
to relax and reward myself after working so hard all day as a real grown up.
Yep.
I got to put on a different mask and I got to be fun, like bar girl. And in between that, I'm doing music trivia and I'm just
Yeah.
living that like life that was
Mhm.
Richmond in the mid 2000s. And
Yeah.
I just kept playing and working and playing and working. And eventually, I don't know which happened first, a group of people said, "Let's go to Atlantic City," because that's
Mm.
not far from me, it's just up the coast, like 5 hours. Or I remember they started having specialty tournaments because it was my idea, it's like, "You should have ladies' night tournaments, you should have
Mhm.
college night over here at this bar, you should
Right.
do a seniors tournament for our sweet little old men that we all love to
Women
so
have the
much."
best ideas to, like, expand something or to include more people. I'm sorry, we have the best ideas.
The marketing is genius, right?
We are.
Like,
Mhm.
they knew exactly what they were doing, putting this girl in there because I became like the patron saint, the Richmond princess of free poker in a bar. I got this. So they closely mirrored it to like WSOP, World
Yeah.
Series of Poker tournaments, because in Texas Hold'em, you're either WSOP or World Poker Tour, and I was a
Yep.
WSOP fan. So I started watching them on TV because they were on TV a lot during that
Yes.
time too, and I started becoming a fan of some of these, like, poker celebrities.
Yep.
Just like you and I were talking about, like, I fangirl anybody anywhere for any reason. Like, I have recovery heroes now,
Yeah.
but,
Uh-huh.
like, back in the day, I had these poker heroes, Daniel Negreanu and Annie
Mhm.
Duke, and these were the people that I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm gonna be this. I
Yeah.
got this. I got my glasses on. I got my lucky card cover." There's always a token in there too.
Yeah.
Just like your good luck charm, and
Always.
I love the idea of I believe in luck, but I can beat luck.
Yes.
and I can be the best at this. I luck is cool. I'm glad you have it.
Oh.
Watch this.
Yeah.
And I would come in, and so we had, massive tournaments, like annual tournaments,
Yeah.
and it was the biggest thing in Richmond. We had, I also worked part-time at a hotel because work is also a, collateral for me. Like, I
Mhm.
will, this day, take work to an extreme because it brings me satisfaction.
Mhm.
We had this big hotel in a big tournament in a hotel ballroom, and there were 300 of the best poker players that Virginia had on the scene. And it was a 12-hour tournament. There were like 30 tables. Of course, I helped with the setup because it was run by the league that I worked for. And of course, I knew most of the people there because this is my circle. And of course, there's drugs and alcohol there.
Mhm.
And I just hit my stride that day and I won. I took down the tournament.
No way. No
Yeah, I have a
way.
bracelet and everything somewhere. I don't know where it is,
Okay,
but I won.
so how many? You said it was 300 people in the tournament,
300 people,
and
$0 buy-in because that wasn't legal to have cash games at the
I was
time.
just gonna ask about that, if there was a buy-in situation, but also how many other women were like, could you count?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I would say the ratio of men to women, there was probably 1 woman for every 4 to 5 men. So there weren't
Oh, okay.
many of us. But
Yeah,
when
but,
it
that's
started
actually
out, it's pretty surprising. A lot of
yeah.
couples did it
Yeah, okay,
together.
that
That's how
makes
I
sense,
got
yeah.
into it at the time.
Yep.
Um, but there's definitely more men than women, but no woman had ever won the Virginia World
That's
Series.
badass.
So I was like, "Hello." And having just taken, like, 2nd place in a karaoke contest like Richmond Idol a couple of weeks earlier, I was
No
like, "I need
way.
vindication."
You
I
and
would
I
compete
are
for anything.
like, as you're describing all of this, you and I would have had a fucking blast if we grew up together because A, love karaoke, have always loved karaoke, have always loved bar trivia. Bar trivia is
Yes.
amazing. I'm very competitive. I love board games. I'm not
Yes.
asshole competitive unless the other person turns into an asshole and doesn't want to follow the rules. That's when I go, fuck you. Look at this page. This is the fucking rule. But
I will
I
meet you where you are with that.
exactly, and so, like, as a kid, like, I played like, even just, like,
Uh-huh.
fucking Go Fish or Old Maid or whatever, like, my dad would play
Yeah.
cards with me. Then I would learn card tricks. I became very obsessed with Houdini.
Okay.
Very I don't know why, but I was obsessed with the fact that the way he died is just some dude punched him. I was like, "You're a magician and you died because someone punched you."
That's so
And
wild.
and it's like anything around cards, I was always
Yeah.
fascinated by. I've always been fascinated by cards. And then, so like you had mentioned, when World Series of Poker started to get more
Mhm.
popular, my brother at that time was, like getting into like his teenage years. So of course, like that's prime bro dude time. And so
Oh, yeah.
I would watch with him because again, we were close and he'd be like, "Hey, this is what I'm learning." I didn't realize that I want to go back to this because again, I want to learn all the rules. I didn't know there was
Mhm.
a difference between World Series of Poker and World Poker Tour in terms of rules. What were the differences between the 2?
Rules were very, I'm trying to recall it myself, like, they were 2 different circuits, kinda like, I mean, the way I saw it, it was like XFL and NFL.
Got it, okay. Mhm.
Sometimes you had players who overlapped, but and I think that WSOP was more prevalent on the East Coast in Atlantic City.
That makes sense.
That was my takeaway from it
Okay.
because, winning the big tournament here qualified me to go to an amateur circuit in Atlantic City.
No way. Like, for
Yeah.
another tournament specifically or in general for, like, a time frame?
It ended up being, they billed it as, I think that there was one that I got into that I played that was set on the calendar, like, they gave me the calendar and said, "This
Yeah.
is the one that we will buy your entryway into," but I also got a $2,000 gift card to the Borgata, which was pretty new at the time. Borgata is
Yeah.
banging. That place
Yeah.
is fantastic, like, you want the dopamine hit? Walk in the Borgata, baby. And I mean, I had that feeling too, like, I was like, "I have arrived, I am here, this is
Yeah.
incredible." It's Atlantic City, it's still Jersey, I
Mhm.
love it, but it's, some people were like, "Oh, that's just Vegas East," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"It ain't Richmond."
Yeah,
And
exactly,
you didn't
exactly.
win. I got the
Mhm.
bracelet. You don't.
Right.
Uh, so I'm just talking shit all the way up 95.
Yep.
And at that time, I was ramping up on the use of pills and ramping up on the use of cocaine a lot because you need stamina to play in a poker tournament. And
Got it.
caffeine was always one of my jams too. I was a big fan of the Red Bull and the Jägermeister and all the
Yeah,
Red Bull and
mhm.
vodka stuff back then.
Right.
So I was just like living the big kid dream. So I think it all kind of came together in a perfect storm, and then it comes together in a perfect shitstorm too of, well, that job wasn't great for me, but I'll get another job, and I'll get a
Mm.
better job next time, and I'll
Mhm.
always be looking for something better. Well, that relationship went to hell in a handbasket, but I'll get a better relationship,
Yep.
and that gets us in a cycle of, I mean, you see it with people in achievement too. You see it with
Mhm.
people in all different levels, like having that feeling of being the best and winning. We like that. We like that. I like to be good at things.
Me
I
too.
like to win.
Mhm.
I like to be recognized. I like to be known. Actually, not
Mhm.
so much anymore.
Right.
But we like the positive attention
Yes.
because it makes us feel like we've done something well, and it makes me feel less like I've wasted time, money,
Time.
energy
Exactly. Mhm.
in
Mhm.
doing stuff.
Yep.
So it went on. I probably was a poker kid going up and down, burning up the roads to Charlestown, West Virginia, which is where the
Okay.
ponies and the casino is out there.
Okay.
And that's probably about 3 hours and some change from
Damn.
Richmond,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then going to Atlantic City, I went with the same group of people who, like, nobody was sober,
Yeah.
obviously. There might have been a
Mhm.
sober person in there somewhere, but we had a pretty big group of friends that hung out socially, and I mean, we're hanging out 6 nights a week, 7 nights a week
Yeah.
sometimes, playing free poker in bars to qualify for this
Yep.
or to make money for that. And so it's just feeding the beast in between trips to
Yeah.
the big league. So I go to the big league, nothing big happens. I was actually a registered amateur on the WSOP tour for 2 years. I was, like,
No
listed on the
shit.
website, I had a little picture on there. Yeah, because you play and you spend enough money, you can get your face on a website too. Like, it's actually really
I
cool.
prepaid for
But
my spot on the website.
yeah, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely paid for it. But, I realized then, like, some people in our group would play roulette, and one person won, like, 50K on, like, a random
Holy
roulette.
fuck.
There was something called a bad beat jackpot, and somebody I know won, like, close to 6 figures on a bad beat jackpot. And I'm like, "Damn, I'm seeing everybody around me, like, winning, and this is bullshit because I'm the one that earned my seat here."
Right.
Um, but it doesn't necessarily work that way, you know? It doesn't
Mm-mm.
work that way, and then even if you spend money and you lose, sometimes they comp you a room, they
Yep.
give you comp meals, because they want you to keep giving
Yep.
them your money. So I am a sucker for that to this
Mhm.
day.
Yep.
You offer me something for free and I am there. 'Cause I
Uh-huh.
love free
I
stuff.
agree. Me too.
I think the hardest there's so many hard parts of it because 'cause I'm ADHD as the day is long too, in case y'all haven't figured that out. And I like the lights and the sounds
Yes.
and the smells of the casino.
Yes.
I love the smell of the
Me
casino.
too. And, like, for me, I don't think it's overstimulation. I think it's and I don't know if this seems counterintuitive, but I completely understand the need for recognition. I wanna be a winner because, again, I assume you're also a perfectionist, but we can always do better. We can always do better. I can always win more. I won something, well, I can win more next time. So it's
Mhm.
always like this, I can, be better at my craft, so to speak.
Yes.
And I love getting the recognition and all of that. However, what I love about a casino is I blend in and no one notices me, which sounds very weird, but, like, I also then am on my own schedule because the casino never closes. Now, mind you, the food things I need to factor in, but I like the idea because my biggest anxiety is time. So I like that I don't
Mhm.
have to worry about time as much in a casino. They don't want you to worry about it either. hence
Really?
no clocks. But I love being in a casino. Like, I know they pump I know all the things, the oxygen, the things that they do. There's no clocks, everything's a maze, and yet I still love it.
Me too. Because
Yeah,
the problems I have outside the casino no longer matter when I'm in the casino.
exactly.
The problems I had before taking a fistful of Dilaudid no longer exist after I swallow the Dilaudid.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
problems I had before the 8 ball seem pretty insignificant after the 8 ball.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
all of that combined, especially when I have a room on the top floor of the Borgata
Yep.
that I can go
Mhm.
do my cocaine in and come back down to my seat,
Yep.
I was living this whole other life. And it started to take over and expand into my real life because my real life was
Mm.
boring.
Mm.
And like I also love that you mentioned the voyeuristic piece of it. Like
Yeah.
I loved like the people watching and spying in on other people's lives, but it also kind of fed the beast too. It's like,
Yep.
oh, she won that. You can win that. You can
Yeah.
do that too. Watch this. And
Mhm.
so it was just this never ending spiraling cycle that, in traditional recovery, I often refer to whatever I'm doing as non traditional, but
Yeah.
traditional recovery, people talk about a rock bottom.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I buy rock bottom because I
Mhm.
probably hit rock bottom 25 times and didn't recognize it as a rock
That it was bottom.
bottom.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, well, that sucked.
Mhm.
If I just play better next time, it won't
Exactly.
be rock bottom
Mhm.
because this isn't how my story ends, right? Because 'Cause I'm an
Exactly.
overachiever. My story can't end on a loss. I'm not gonna take an L. I'm
Hell
always
no.
gonna
Mhm.
not today." And I've never been like this the person who could just walk away with my tail tucked between my legs.
Nope.
Even after losing, like, my entire paycheck from my grown-up life
Mm.
in a hand at it was a hand at Showboat. Hold'em was my game. I did play some table stuff. I played quite a bit of blackjack at Charlestown,
Mhm.
and I still this is where you and I are very much alike too. I still love me a slot.
Oh, fuck yeah.
To
Mhm.
this day, the slot is the quickest way to get my brain from "meh" to "yay."
Yeah, exactly. Even if I'm losing, because there's a
Yeah.
sound that I like
Ding,
or
ding, ding. It's so happy.
exactly. And I love that you talk about that it was different things because I think a lot of people think like, "Oh, when you gamble, you just like to go do this one thing." I don't. I like to diversify my gambling. I honestly,
Absolutely.
though, did not get into slots until maybe 2020, 2021. And my big thing was blackjack, craps, roulette. And so what was already kind of a built-in harm reduction piece for me is that when I turned 21, I was like, "I'm going to fucking Vegas. Of course I'm going to Vegas." And it wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily for the gambling, but it's for if I want the max 21-year-old experience, we're going to
The
fucking Vegas.
experience. Yep.
And so, of course, I go there and I just decide to try a slot machine because 'cause I'd never tried one before, put 20 in, won $100 because
Bam.
okay. Well, gambling again, slots weren't really the thing because I had learned how to play blackjack, and I loved playing blackjack, so, okay, we'll do that. Poker, I will say, I've never done poker
Oh,
at a casino because I feel so intimidated by it, even though, like, I'll play it online to, like maybe someday I'll, like but it's not I feel very intimidated by it, so did not get into that, but it was always, like, blackjack, roulette, and then eventually I learned craps, which is so complex, and I that's why I love it so much. And so because there's so
my
many
man.
different ways that you anyway, and I think that's the big thing for me, like, we have discussed, like, the numbers, the probabilities, the patterns, the things you have to look for, that
The
makes
smart
our
kid stuff,
brain
right?
it makes our brain tick, so even if the fact
Yeah.
that we're not winning, I'm still getting the dopamine of going, "Oh, I know this now, so next time I won't do this," or, "I will factor this in next time," or whatever it may be. But the built-in harm reduction for me was I didn't like to go to so in Arizona, there are reservation casinos, and I
Yes.
would never go to a casino just simply for the fact that I'm like, "Well, it's not Vegas." So I'm like, "Why am I
Right.
gonna go to the lesser version?" So up
Mhm.
until 2020, everything we would go to Vegas 4 times a year, maybe 4 to 5 times a year. Even before I worked for Mobilize, that was just me and Jordan love to gamble. We've always done that. In fact, his grandparents used to in their, building of older folks would coordinate trips to Atlantic City. His
Uh-huh.
grandpa would be, like, the tour director, so to speak. His grandma would be the person that keeps track of all the people. This is where you go to eat. This is where we
Okay.
obviously, the backbone.
Yep.
But so he had, like again, it's always been a fascination, and then the pandemic
Mhm.
happened. Great job, pandemic. And then, everything just got very weird, and I'm like, "I kinda wanna
Yeah.
just go gamble, though." You know, like, I just want how does this work now? And so that's when I started trying slots because I never really saw the benefit of slots. So, on the other end of it, I was playing blackjack. I was only doing table games, so every time I went to Vegas, I never got comped rooms. I didn't realize, like, the comping of things really comes from the slots or from other things in
Or
terms of
high
the
roller
points.
tables or something like that.
Exactly.
Like, you want the quick. You don't wanna
Exactly.
amass, like, wealth.
Exactly. So, I would never get comp offers, and I was like, "Well, fuck this." Like, that's why I didn't feel this yes, it's fun, but I was also like, "Well, maybe someday I'll get a comp room." Then I
Right.
start trying slots. Man, they will give you a comp room for putting $100 into a fucking slot machine, which is insane because I would spend $100 at a blackjack table. I'm like, "I sat
And
here for an hour
nothing.
and a half." Like, what the fuck? So,
Yep.
once I started to understand the system, the reward system behind it, that's when I got again, here's now a new echelon of knowledge. And again, I'm always a curious person. I try to lead with curiosity, but sometimes my hyper focus then becomes gambling or something in a way. Like when I first started smoking weed, it was like, I'm going to try every fucking strain that exists. And I'm going to try everything because I
Yes.
need to be an expert and know all the things.
It's the
My
mental
brother was
Rolodex theory.
exactly, and my brother was, me, my brother, my sister were all I understand now we're all
Yeah.
neurodivergent. My brother was never officially diagnosed before he passed away, but it's so fucking obvious that he was,
Yeah.
beyond, like, it's just ridiculous, but
Yeah.
he was also in the frame of mind of, like, "Dude, let's go to gamble, like, then we can make this money back really quick." Like, everything is a
Yes.
get rich quick scheme, of course,
Absolutely.
but
That's
with his
exactly the way that my father was too.
yes, and
And I
and
love that, like, risk versus reward. That was like a
mhm.
phrase in my from my upbringing, and it's like, yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. And you talk about VIP culture and, like,
Uh-huh.
getting the comp room. That's so I just realized that's the connection, like, I like to be in the inner circle. I like to
Yeah.
be a VIP. I wanna
Mhm.
be the subject matter expert. I wanna be
Yes.
in like, there's important people, and then there's more important people, then there's me and my people.
Right.
I like
Mhm.
that feeling. That's ultimate inclusion.
Yes. And it's so funny because it's like, I don't necessarily I'm not gonna gamble in the way of, like, high roller people, like, I'm not putting fucking $50 bets down, like, I do my bets. Like, if depending on how much I have made, like, my
Mhm.
max bet may and that's, like, I'll do 2 spins of, like, $25, like, that's, like, crazy. But, that goes back to the whole harm reduction thing, though, where
Yes.
it's you can have really quick wins on a slot machine and really quick losses, as opposed to a table
Yes.
where it's kind of like dopamine regulated. It's more regulated. That sounds weird, but like you don't have these, you know, flashes of
Yes.
shit. Mhm.
It is, and the flip side to that, thinking about it from a harm reduction standpoint, is that it's more of a time investment. We talked about time as a
Yes.
collateral for
Mhm.
us. Like, I I haven't sat at a poker table since 2019.
Wow.
A poker table of any kind, because I haven't had the desire to, because there I know I gotta grind, I'll use the
Yeah.
language. You gotta grind away and sit behind your glasses and calculate your moves, and honestly, this is gonna sound silly, but I don't have time for that shit. I got a
No.
kid, I got a spouse, I got a job,
Mhm.
like a real job that I actually kinda like and wanna keep for a while.
Yep.
Like,
Mhm.
I'm not and then I only have a certain amount of time to devote to either a trip to AC or, um time to just sit down. Like, I'm not gonna play it even an online tournament or a tournament in
Mhm.
a bar because I don't go to bars anymore because my
Yep.
priorities are different.
Yep.
But it's a built-in buffer for me to say, "You know what? No, I can get the dopamine hit quickly from sitting at a from sitting at a slot machine, and I will only take a certain amount of money, or I
Yes.
will go with a safe person. Like, it's about people, places, and things, really. It does kind of come
Mhm.
back to that for harm reduction. Um, Talking about that, like, I was in Ireland this summer, which was amazing, by the
Yeah.
way. It was
Mhm.
incredible, but, like, my real grown-up life and career and job and stuff led me to Ireland to speak at a conference, and I was there with, there were 2 other couples, and then my boss at the time and I were there, and we were like, my husband didn't go with me, and her significant other didn't go with her, but we everybody was kinda paired off, but I did not go. I saw a casino when we were walking through Dublin one night, and I was like, "Oh, that" I had the urge for the first
Yeah.
time in ever, but I had to say something because I knew my boss very well. In fact, she's still one of my biggest champions and, like, one of my biggest mentors in life
Yeah.
and the world, and I was like, why am I feeling the urge to go in there? She's like, because you're somewhere that it's fun and you are thinking back. Cause I had been to Ireland in 97 too.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, because you're kind of reminiscing and that's something that you used to do for fun, but we have other ways to get our dopamine now, don't we? And I was like, we actually do. And I don't have time to sit and play a tournament.
Yep.
She's like, no, because
Mhm.
I'd probably be like, come on, let's go. Like, she wouldn't
Right.
jerk me out of there, but she's like, "I want to go see something else, and we only have a certain amount of time in Dublin. I'm not gonna spend 13 hours
Exactly.
grinding at a
Mhm.
poker table."
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
time is a hot commodity, and I will live by the clock. I'll also wear the watch in the casino now, or I'll
Mhm.
take my cell phone, which we didn't have cell phones
Yes.
when I was doing all that stuff too.
Mhm.
And you can't have have them
Yeah.
at the tables really anyway, so
Right, exactly. Mhm, and that's the whole thing too where, again, when you're at the table, you are forced to be present, which is honestly, like, it was a social it not it was, it is a social thing for me. It is so nice when you
mm,
go up to, like, a table, and everyone's just in a good vibe, and it's like, we're all here to win, especially at a blackjack table. When you all realize you're all against the dealer versus some people
oh,
who come in
yeah.
and play, they think you're I was like, "No, babe, we're against them. It's us against them."
Us against them. Either you're with us or you're not.
Right,
Like,
exactly, and it's that whole idea of this inclusion of, like, let's
yes,
all win together. Let's all
yeah,
and in reality, we're just looking for community, and community
yes.
because I don't that's the other thing, I don't gamble by myself. The only reason I would gamble by myself is if I was, say, traveling and I was literally next to a casino or living in the casino, and then I would go
Yes.
gamble. But other than that, I don't go out of my way if I'm traveling alone. Now, if I travel with people that I know like to gamble and there is the casino within distance, it's a good way for us to like, all right, do you want to like just fucking go there, dick around, maybe we have food, blah blah blah, whatever. But what I love about again this idea of when you're gambling and you start to talk to people who are
Oh, yes.
gambling, it's nice to know that the other person's not immediately gonna come at you with, "Well, are you sure you should be gambling?" Or, "Is that a
Right.
good idea?" Or, like, "How much do you gamble? How much do you have?" And I always have to go, I gamble with what I'm comfortable losing. I don't ever
Mhm.
go and take my fucking paycheck, or I don't take this and go, "I can double this." Like, that's silly because I still come from a scarcity
Yes.
mindset. And I don't know if you grew up with a scarcity mindset, but
Yes.
lottery, my dad still plays the lottery to this day. He'll call me and be like, "Jack, the Powerball's at this. You need to go get a ticket right now." And lottery, scratcher tickets, that's I'm
Yep.
Filipino. Hello, that's gambling like nonce and karaoke. So hello, Filipino gambling
Hello, yeah,
karaoke.
that's life.
I'm Irish also,
Yeah.
fucking drinking, obviously. But
It's all like, it all comes together.
exactly, and it's a matter of when it gets to that point, though, when it is
Yes.
not conducive and you are using paychecks, and for you,
Right.
what was that point for you where you started to realize, "This is not fun camaraderie, shoot the shit time anymore, this is fuck, like, this is not good."
So I gradually left a lot of the lifestyle.
Mm,
The last thing that I let go of, quite literally, well, the lifestyle. I let go of the lifestyle long before I even let go of drugs or alcohol.
okay.
My recovery is primarily from opioids because that's what was gonna kill me. I
Mhm.
never really said out loud that I was in recovery from problem gambling, and I don't know that I ever really have in so many words, except
Yeah.
maybe on that post because I was like, I practice harm reduction for sure. Um, there's no resources for it, first of all. If you were to say, I need help for problem gambling to your therapist, it's like,
Right.
well, I don't know where to tell you to go. I guess there's Gamblers Anonymous because there's everything
And
anonymous.
that's
Go
it.
try that.
Yeah.
But they recommend abstinence. Like there's like you don't no mood or mind altering substances and no mood or mind altering freaking like dopamine inducing games.
Anything.
And I'm like, I've never been that. Won't, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I got away from the lifestyle probably around the time that life started kind of falling apart for me in 2014. I had a relationship with someone in that circle locally that ended very, very badly,
Mm.
and very, very unsafely.
Mm.
And I had a few brushes with law enforcement because of scarcity mindset and money and financial troubles.
Yeah.
And I also, coincidentally, this is a good thing. I met my husband around that time too. We
Mhm.
met online, of course, because what are you going to do online? You're going to take
Yeah.
some risks and like gamble on somebody or something,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
So we took a gamble on each other and we met online. And shortly thereafter, we were together and planning to have our son because things happened pretty quickly at that point in my
Mhm.
life. And being pregnant, I did not hang out in bars anymore. So I was gradually
Yeah.
getting away from that. But what I was missing was the connection piece. I was feeling
Yeah.
super isolated. That started a little bit of, how I can take anything to an extreme. That started me doing I was doing more drugs
Yeah.
because I was feeling more physical and emotional pain
Yep.
and feeling the need to escape from my reality a lot. Um, I was getting ready to have a baby, so
Yeah.
I was trying to simultaneously cut down on the substances. I stopped drinking. I tried to get down to therapeutic doses of opioids as much as possible and then had that baby, and they sent me home after a C-section with a shit ton of Dilaudid. And what better way to quiet the voices and feel like you belong in your own skin, in your own house, in your own life
Yeah.
than to take a month's worth of a prescription in a week. So that's how
Yeah.
everything kind of spiraled that way. But I was less and less social interaction because I was a new mom and trying to figure out who the hell I am in this
Yeah.
world. I also really started leaning heavily into I got away from that circle a lot because a lot of them were very unsafe. The people I was
Mm.
getting substances from were the same people I was sitting next to at the table at the bar, the same
Yeah.
people I was going to Atlantic City with, the same people I'd run into in the local casinos if I went there, the same
Yeah.
people who were hosting cash games in their houses, in their basements
Mm.
that were getting busted, that were showing up on the news. So I'm
Oh,
trying to
shit.
keep my nose clean because I've got a couple pending cases and just shifting everything in life, but I wasn't ready I could never do an abstinence only thing. I started playing games online
Yeah.
because I just realized the other night when you're scrolling through TikTok, you still get pop-up ads for
Oh, yeah.
solitaire and this and that, and
Mhm.
that shit makes the world go round in social
Mhm.
media. And you play once and you're gonna get 25 more apps and games pop up on your phone
Right.
regularly. So the financial cycle took a long time to get out of, and the isolation cycle, I doubled down on it. We'll use the
Yeah.
language again. I doubled down on the drugs when I quit the alcohol. I doubled down on the video gaming when I wasn't doing it in person.
Yeah.
So everything kind of came to a head in, I'd say, 2017 when we had moved. My husband and I had gotten married. Our son was 17 months old, and we moved to Mississippi all within the same month. We
Oh,
got
shit.
married December 30th, and we moved to Mississippi like 2 weeks later. He had taken a job. It
Oh,
was his dream
wow.
job, which was amazing. I married a straight edge guy, by the way. Yeah,
Mhm.
amazing. Like
Yep.
life deals you some fun stuff, but love my husband, but he had
Mhm.
no idea what all
Mm.
this mess, what a mess this was.
Yeah.
And so he takes all of that to Mississippi, and Mississippi was just a string of I knew where the casinos were. I
Mm.
never really went, but I always planned to go, and people who would visit Mississippi from Virginia who were there for tournaments were calling me all the time and trying to pull me
Mm.
back in. I've got a baby, and I'm running out of running out of pills, and I'm going to
Yeah.
pain pill mills and all this stuff, and Mississippi was a blur of, like, TDOs and some pretty significant near misses for me as far as, like, opioid use and
Mm.
surviving a series of overdoses at this point, and, like, the thing that saved me was most likely the fact that we moved back to Virginia at the end of that year, and I
Mm.
realized that my baby had turned 2 in there somewhere. My dad had passed away, and I was about to lose everything, like, more than I ever lost at a table.
Mm.
It was in that time frame that I actually went back to free poker in a bar in Richmond when we moved back to Virginia,
Yeah.
and it lost a lot of its luster.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's like it is that point where you say, "God, I've got a lot of shit to lose.
Yeah.
I've got a lot more shit to lose than
Right.
my driver's license, my freedom, a paycheck. No,
Mhm.
I'm about to lose everything." And that's
Well,
about the time that I went Googling and found the clinic that helps me start my recovery journey.
one thing hold on, ADHD, you said something you said something that made me think of something. Oh, being straight edge, high school, all that. I didn't do shit in high school. I didn't do anything in middle school. I
Does
didn't
me
do any of that. I didn't drink till I was a couple months before 21, and it was a sip, and it was like a White Russian. What was my fucking problem? I don't even like milk. I'm Asian.
I
Hello.
hate no
And let's do a vodka. I still drink vodka. And that's the
yeah,
other thing too is I didn't do any drinking. I didn't smoke weed. I didn't do any of this shit till 21. So that's also kind of like the weird dichotomy too of like I grew up in a smaller town, smaller
yep,
military town on top of it.
mhm.
And so a lot of people were doing dumb shit, 13, 14, 15. Of course, because we lived in a small town, there wasn't shit else to do. But I had a
What else you
brother and a
gonna do?
sister, and I gotta be a babysitter, so I didn't have time to fucking dick around and do dumb shit. So I didn't get like that. By the time you get to college, you're kind of like partied, not partied out, but like it's not as like we have to go. And so I always feel like too that a lot of people, not that I'm a late bloomer for like indulgence,
Yeah,
but
no,
that's really what it is because, again, like, you don't when you don't do shit because you're so, like, afraid of getting caught or getting in trouble, when you're like, "I'm an adult now. I can do what I fucking want." I wanted to make sure that no one could make me feel bad or tell me what to do because I'm of age, eat my shit, whatever.
yep,
However, the competitive piece that can be very hard is if I go to a casino and say I always go in with a set amount, and that amount can vary depending on how A, rich I'm
same,
feeling, or B, how poor I am. And
right?
so when I go in there with that amount and I lose that in a very quick fashion, then
Mm,
I'm like,
yep,
I don't go out like a fucking loser. You know what I mean? And so it would be there was a period for about a month where I'm like, "I need to get this fucking like, I can't keep leaving here a loser." And so then I'm like, "You know what? We're just not gonna fucking go." I keep being a fucking
yeah,
loser, and so, like, taking this harm reduction method. One thing and I don't know if this, helps me. I to be honest, I don't really care. Like, if it's when people are always talking about, like, "Oh, I don't think that's a good idea for you." Well, I don't really know if anything's a good idea anymore. Everything just seems to be upside down, but there are a lot of creators and the reason I bring this up because this probably was not prevalent in the time when you were doing tournaments and stuff like that, but there are a lot of creators now on YouTube that do gambling content, and they do, like, slot machine play. They show them doing the slot machine, "Hey, here's a new machine. This is what we did." There are people who do, like, craps. There are certain casinos that allow people to film now, so you can see people play craps, blackjack, things like that, which, for someone if you are just which I this is why I love storytelling or watching a movie
yeah,
is you get to experience that without the risk, you know? And so
watch this.
For me, it was also a learning thing too, because they're one of the first people we started watching on YouTube, this is like 2020, 2021. He didn't call it harm reduction gambling, but his thing was his big focus, and now it's not as much his focus, and that's because he's gotten larger and now he plays with more
Yeah.
money, and that's fantastic, and I'm happy for him. But
Good
in
for
the
him.
beginning, it was very much like, okay, set yourself a stopping limit. Now, when you get to this point, reevaluate at this point. And so there was always like these rules of thumb. So even when we went to, the local casino in 2020, I'm like, I don't know
Mhm.
shit about slot machines. And that's how I wanted to learn about it because again,
Yeah.
I know there's clear every slot machine's different, the number of lines are different, how you get paid is different, bonuses are different.
Yes.
So to me that was I had already learned craps, blackjack. I learned all the table games. So this 2020s period has been
Yep.
slot machine knowledge. And, again, thinking like, "Oh, well, if I figure out this and I figure out that, this if I go to this machine, this is a good machine," or whatever. Of course, we're always gonna tell each other ourselves things, but I
Yep.
also have a creepy luck that I cannot explain that which funny you brought up on this,
See
I don't think
now.
we recorded this, but you were talking about a medium, and
Oh,
the first time I ever saw a medium was after my brother died. It was 2 weeks after that, it was on the phone. It was my one of my best friend from college, they had a family medium, as one does, and so this was, like, their person that they would go to, and it was this older Asian dude, had no social media, had no
right.
anything, whatever. And he fucking read me to filth on the phone just initially because he was like, "Oh, I'll just do a reading on you." And like I was giving him nothing because it was, 2 weeks since my brother died. I'm like, I don't even believe this bullshit. Like this is fucking,
Yeah, like,
you know, I've always
no.
believed in woo-woo, ghosts, all that, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
anyone
giving him
could look
dick right now. Nothing.
exactly. I'm not giving him shit. But for as he was kind of like talking about me, he was like, you have really good luck, like in casinos. Like you're the type of person who go walk by a machine and go, I should play that. And I like was like, that's fucking weird because that's exactly how it is. It's an intuitive thing I cannot deny.
Seeing you.
And I will say 80% of the time, I'm going to hit something and I will either very minimum double up and get the fuck out. So
Yep.
the fact that he brought that up as like, hey, you have a really weird gambling intuition because that's so specific. It's not just to cards, it's to a
Yes.
machine. So
Yes.
when we talked about that, and then, he told me shit about my brother, which was also fucking weird. But like,
Oh, yeah.
there's this other part of me that I'm sure to someone who is abstinent space would be like, that's not a real voice telling you that you're lucky or that's not whatever. But like, I have friends I've taken to casinos and they've been like, I've never seen anything like this. Like they'll gamble with me and then they win and then we both win. So when I try to then say that to people, they also think I'm trying to justify my addiction, which
Of
again,
course.
which I'm like,
They're gonna find a hole in our theories if they want to, right? Like, they are very good at that,
right.
finding a
And
hole in
I'm
our
I'm
theories,
also
whether it's
like,
recovery, gambling.
right, and there was I remember there's someone who was like, "Well, you only post when you win," and I'm like, "Well, I could post when I lose, but who wants to see that?" I'm like, "Hey, here's my 1 cent
Here's some sad
voucher.
shit.
Like, did you want to
Yes.
see that?" Like,
Yeah.
but I also like to show people the potential of what my luck can be sometimes.
Yes.
And this is the other piece of it. There's so much shame around this, like, "Hey, I have good luck. I like to play games." Yet I feel that sports betting is the alcohol of the drug world now, and no one
So
talks shit
normal.
about sports
No.
betting, your DraftKings,
No.
your that's one thing I don't do, and I refuse to do because, again, back in the day when you had to go in
Don't do it either.
somewhere and I would do, like, a parlay or whatever, I learned,
Huh?
sports betting, and I'm like, "This is fucking dumb." You know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah, yeah.
so much in other people's hands, but conspiracy, but not conspiracy. I feel that professional sports has shifted
Yes.
since, sports betting has come into play because
Yes.
me and my husband are big NFL fans. We have
Yes.
noticed a very big difference in the last 2 years of events that
The
occur
man
in a
behind the
game.
curtain a
Yeah.
little,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, that is so fucking pass interference right now." But, like, before you'd have like, "Oh, that's a bullshit call." Now it's like, it is so blatant. Why would you go for
Yeah.
this on this, you know, so you're trying to cover the spread. So now it's like I'm
Always.
even more like, how do you criticize me about my desire to go play a slot machine or go dick around for 2 hours, but you are doing bets on your phone like no one's business, and that's okay. That's my fucking annoyance with
And
gambling.
see, you just nailed exactly where my real point of saying, I'm in recovery for this, right? Like,
Mhm.
this is where I will claim my recovery because I think I've told you part of this story before. I used to go to some traditional local 12-step-ish meetings,
Mhm.
and full transparency, I'm a person who uses medication to this day, like Sublocade. Never say the medication saved my life, but it freed up my brain and body from some really painful stuff so that I could save my own ass, right?
Yes. And
Like,
that's
the
such a
medication
good
didn't do that shit
fucking
for
way
me.
to put it because
Yeah.
you do it in a way that is empowering, not like it stops my cravings. No, it reduces the pain or the receptor pain that I will feel
Yes.
here to try and aim for a better fucking life. And I love that you say it
But
like that because honestly, I want to bring that and when I explain that to people, that's a
yes.
great way to put it. Anyway, go ahead,
It
continue.
stops my brain from screaming because if you've
Mhm.
experienced withdrawals from opioids, you know that that's not it's not, "Why don't you just quit? Isn't your baby enough? Isn't your family crying enough?" No,
Right.
it's
Oh,
fucking not.
no.
I'm dying. And the doctor in Mississippi at my TDO, he said, "You can't die from like, heroin or opioid withdrawals, but you sure as hell want to," and I'm like, "You fucking kidding me, right?" Like, I
Yeah.
do.
Wow.
In fact, I'd kill you for a Klondike bar right now, motherfucker. Like, seriously, God,
Yeah.
like, this is so problematic, but they'll say that. They will say all those things about, "You're not really clean this, and you're not really that," and recovery has to be this abstinent, narrow little lap lane, and everything else is lack of willingness, readiness,
Yes.
whatever, S. And then, Jacqueline, they said it to me. They said, "Come back when you're really clean." They said, "You'll never get a sponsor." A really nice, well-meaning lady said, "Well, you can keep coming to meetings, but I wouldn't say anything, and you'll never get a sponsor." And I'm like, "Why do I need a sponsor? I need people who like don't suck around me." And then I
It's
watched every single person from that meeting get in the car and go to the local gambling emporium after the damn meeting.
uh,
And I was like, "No, you know what? Now I'm gonna be the fucking square. You know
ex
what? I can't go do that because what the hell?
right.
Y'all are chugging the nastiest coffee I've ever drank in my life and taking it across town to lose all your money that you made, which ain't much if you're a peer specialist too, by the way. I'll just
No.
let
Oh
you
my
know.
god.
I have more to lose today. So I treat my money, I have that relationship with my money better
Mhm.
today.
Yes.
And I was thinking when you were talking about the parameters, like harm reduction is basically like bumper bowling.
Yeah,
It's like duck
exactly.
pin
Mhm.
bowling with the bumpers. You're still freaking bowling.
Yeah.
You're still bowling. You're still getting what you're looking for from the
Mhm.
why you do that thing, the relaxation, the rewards, the
Right.
escape, the connection, the dissociation, the dopamine. You're still going
Right.
to get all that. You're just putting up safety parameters so that you don't lose that thing that is so important to you. If it's your life,
Yes.
cool. If it's your money, cool. And I found a great thing when you talked about getting over that hump, because that hump sucks when you've
Mhm.
lost a couple times in a row
Mhm.
and you've handed your credit cards to a trusted friend
Mhm.
and you have said, "I have taken out $20 from the ATM." You just heard me because I have to say it out loud to my people
Yes.
too.
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm taking out my 20. All right, I'm taking out one more 20, but this is
Right.
it. Take my cards." And
Yes,
we're done.
exactly.
And
Mhm.
I've burned through that 20 or 50 or whatever, and I've hit my bumper,
Mhm.
but my ball wants to bounce and go back in the
Yep.
lane, right?
No
My
shit.
ball
Yep.
really wants to hit a pin. So I found a great thing. I used to try to go online and try to get the fix from maybe like an online game that's free or cheap or plays off
Yeah.
of tokens or some sort of symbolic economy.
Yeah.
But I took symbolic economy one step further. It's not always accessible, but if you can find this is going to sound so corny when I say it out loud, but I'm such a nerd. Take it back to the 80s. I found pinball to be an amazing,
Ooh.
amazing release to get me over because you're putting in a quarter, right? Or a dollar
Right.
maybe. But they have whole pinball, like, emporiums or
Yes.
pinball,
Mhm.
arcades. That's what they're called, there's the word. But doing something like that, even having a kid and going to Chuck E. Cheese, I'll get competitive over some skee
Oh,
ball. Watch
yeah.
this.
That's
I mean,
I
seriously,
have you ever
it
seen that
can
meme where it's, a picture of Chuck E. Cheese and it says, "Come on down to the Mechanical Rat and Child Casino," and I'm like, "That's exactly what this is." Because for me, living in a smaller town, we didn't have Chuck E. Cheese. I was in the bigger town, but we had Peter Piper Pizza. I don't know if that's an East Coast thing, but it's
I've
like a
heard of that, no, but I've
so
heard
again,
that.
cheap ass fucking pizza where kids can have a party and there's a fucking arcade and skee ball. I fucking love skee ball. The idea that I get tickets to get a prize that honestly, why does this cost this much? As a kid though, I'm like, I just need 100. So like you are
Yes.
trained, let's be honest here, as a child
We
to
drilled
here's
in.
your goal. This is what you aim for. This is what you do and you get this in return. So it wasn't
Uh-huh.
that far fetched to me that like I like the gaming aspect, again, the competitive piece.
Yep.
But, um, I don't think a lot of people make the connection, like, I just always like, combinations of things. I like
Yes.
possible outcomes, I love parallel universes, I love multiple timelines, all that shit, time travel, anything where there's a
Yes.
multitude of outcomes, love it. And that's what gambling is.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's why I loved the workshop from Unity was choose your own adventure, like the books back in the
Yes,
day. Like, I
exactly,
was like, this
exactly.
is the way I view life through that lens is
Mhm.
outcomes, odds, like, it's all that's where the fun and the reward kicks in. So if I can just find a safe way to
Yeah.
get the reward and
Yes.
I did a workshop locally here a couple of years ago called Daily Dose. And
Okay.
dose was the acronym for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins.
Ooh.
It's like the 4 things, 4 different
Yes.
neurotransmitters,
Mhm.
but I looked at my own substance use and my own compulsive patterns over the years, and everything I did that was harmful to me fell into a category of D, O, S, or E, sometimes more
Yes.
than one. So
Mhm.
if I can just it sounds overly simplified, and it kind of is for the purposes of this, but, like, seriously, makeup became an
Mhm.
outlet for me. Like, watching
Yep.
tutorials and being like, "I can
Yes, I did
replicate
this.
that. I might could add my
Mhm.
own flair and do that better. I'd take the liner out to
Mhm.
here and do that instead." And I can get my neurotransmitter needs met in ways
Agreed.
that don't bankrupt my family today.
Yeah, right, right. And it's so true. It's just I think it's just this innate curiosity to learn how things work, because I think what I also find fascinating about these things that are potentially taboo or whatever is that we know psychologically, like, if you go to a slot machine and there's 3 pots and one all the pots look full, if you are deep into gambling knowledge, the way if
Mhm.
you've studied gambling or just, seen how odds work, that is all a show. That is not indicative. It is a mental mind fuck for you to keep playing. And if you go to the
Yes.
game rules, which again, they don't really show you that too, but if you go to the game rules, there's something usually towards the end that says, this is just a physical depiction. It is not indicative of any progressives or anything like that.
Right.
They pretty much say this is just a fuck with you, you loser. And
Yeah.
so going through and like I look at it like a system where it's like, okay, let me look at the rules. Let me look at what I need to get. Oh, I need to get 3 of this symbol, or I need to get 6 coins, or I need to get whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it is. But it goes back to like fucking Nintendo. I was a Nintendo kid, a Super Nintendo kid.
Yes.
So it's like I'm playing
Same.
video games again, much more
Yes.
simplified, but
Oh,
there's a
absolutely.
real reward, like real reward.
Real tangible money rewards. And see the sports betting thing too, I did wanna hit that again too because I'm not into that either. I like
Mm-mm.
sports.
Yes, I love sports.
We don't have to talk about, like, NFL teams because I know that you and I are not on the same wavelength, and that's okay. We're not on the same wavelength, but I've never maybe it's because I've never hit it big off of a football betting pool, or
That's true. That could be it. True. Yeah, that could be it
I've
as
never
well.
found them super rewarding. I wasn't playing, like, Madden, I was playing Zelda. I was playing
Right.
Dofus.
Exactly. I was doing the same shit. Oh my god. And it was always like, even if I could guess what team was gonna win, The fact that you have the over under, I'm like, "That's fucking dumb." Like, to me, then I'm like, "Now you're making my winning really specific." And I'm like, "Fuck you, I don't wanna do that." But, again, you will see the same people
Mm.
who are abstinence only or medicated assisted is potentially not truly abstinence,
Mhm.
sober, whatever fucking judgy fucks do, and
Yep.
then will go and fucking go on their DraftKings app and I gotta put in these bets. Oh my god, I have 6 bets running. And it's like, you cannot shit on me for exactly the same thing that you are doing. Just you've traded one thing, hyper focus. And
Yep.
I almost hate to say that too. Like, again, when you first come into the space, people are like, don't say addiction. But don't say substance use disorder because that's
It's
SUD. Not everyone
diagnostic
has
and it's
SUD.
clinical, and
And if I go,
that's
"Okay,
my
well, if
thing.
I'm using substances, well, problematic." I'm like, there's all these terminologies, okay? But
But is it always problematic? No.
exactly. And
They
I
want us to
think
believe it always is, though. And for women,
that is
gambling
the
is
thing,
always problematic.
which is wild because I feel like
Right.
us, we're
We
not
gotta
I feel like there's a lot more logic and pausing and, like, reevaluation. Now, maybe it gets to a certain point where we stop reevaluating, but especially if you come from a scarcity mindset, like, it was a
yes.
lot for me to gamble.
Yeah.
And even when I went to Vegas, I wasn't gambling with a lot. That's the other thing. I was doing poor person gambling in the sense of, like, I have $300 for 3 days. Like, that's insane to me now. Like, I'm gonna bring $300 for 3 days of gambling, that's insane. But I would, like, $100 every night. And if I get more, then I'll use that the next day, but that's what I would set for myself. And again,
It's a good
that was
time.
fine. However, now would I have $300 in trip? Absolutely not. I've upped it, but
Yeah.
that is also because and this may sound to some people listening who think, "Oh, I think you're enabling yourself," or whatever.
Uh-uh.
It has helped me losing money in small amounts, 50 here, 50 consistently, 20 consistently. It
Yes.
has helped me with my scarcity mindset in the sense that
Yes.
I can always make this back, which also sounds dangerous to some people. So, like, "What if you don't win?" I'm like, "Bitch, I'm sorry. I will win
It does, but
eventually."
it's giving you credit, right?
Yes.
It's like
Mhm.
I'm giving credit where credit is due. Yes, I'm lucky, but
Mhm.
also I'm skilled enough to know that if I couldn't afford to lose it, I wouldn't
Yes.
use it, you know?
Exactly. I feel as people who have gone through therapy, who are currently going through therapy, it's a lot easier for
Yeah.
us to recognize what's a projection and what isn't. A lot of
Mhm.
people project their fears onto you. Like, "Well, aren't you afraid you're gonna do this?" No, that's your fear, but that's not my fear. And
Yeah.
so have had to learn to take out a lot of people's fears, but B, this idea of the scarcity mindset of like, if I went to Vegas with those $300 in that 3 days and I lost it all, I would beat myself up for a fucking month about it. And that's insane
Yep.
because I plan to lose that. Like, it wasn't a part
Mhm.
of rent, but I would still beat myself up. And it wasn't only until the last few years where I'm like, I need to be okay with the fact that if I lose money, I'm fine with the fact that I had fun doing it or whatever it is. Because I also look at it as some people love to go to concerts and get like VIP shit, blah, 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 whatever. That's amazing. I
Yep.
like to take that same amount of money and or probably less because it'll be over a couple sessions, and that's my entertainment. But I
Yes.
think that's the thing is that no one goes, "Oh, you have a concert addiction," if you just are but
Actually, it annoys me. It so totally chaps my ass when people use the word addiction in a non like, "Is it gonna
yes.
kill you? Did you ever die from buying baseball cards, friend? No? You didn't? Oh, okay. Then it's not a fucking addiction."
But it's
But
true.
that's me
Yeah.
being not judgy, right? Like, but I think too that if you're mitigating the consequence with
Yes.
more of the same thing, like, if I feel like a sack of shit because I lost,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna go out and just keep perpetuating the cycle, that's where the problematic piece comes in. That's where
Yes.
the addiction comes in. You are
Exactly.
neglecting your kids for buying baseball cards or makeup, then maybe you do have an addiction.
Yes. Exactly.
But if you're just doing that to make yourself feel better
Mhm.
or to those 4 things that I keep saying: relax, reward, escape, or belong, and
Mhm.
there's no negative consequence to it,
You're right. Mhm.
it's not problematic.
Right. And that's the other thing too, especially now with, I don't have kids. So as a young, and I'm gonna say young, 41-year-old, although I hope it's just 20 more years, I'm fucking done with this shit. But as a younger person who still likes to socialize and still likes to go out, Jordan and I don't go to a bar because we don't really like to drink. And if we drink, but it's like a 1 to 2 cocktail, and beyond this, I'm getting heartburn, a headache, or something I don't wanna deal with tomorrow. So I'm genuinely going because I like the taste of whatever the fuck I'm drinking, as opposed to competitive
Yep,
times where it's like, "I'm gonna beat your bitch ass in Flip Cup." I actually
yep.
paid played Flip Cup about a couple months back because our friends had, like, a throwback house party for his, like, it was
Love
41st or
this.
42nd birthday, and we all
Amazing.
did Flip Cup, and I was like, "Fuck, I have not skipped a beat." Like, I was just, which it was so, like, fun, but then I was like, after 2 rounds, I was like, "My tummy's full." Like, I don't wanna do this anymore. But
That's like me
notice, like,
beating my kid in Tetris. It's like,
right,
or Bop
exactly.
It. I'm like, "Yeah, I still got it. Mom still got it."
Exactly. I'm like, "You try to beat this. I got this many lines. What do you fucking think?" And then they're like, "Calm down."
"Mom, stop crashing out." And I'm like,
But these were my little individual, I didn't play sports.
"Yes."
I was not, I'm not gonna say not allowed to play sports, but it was definitely a higher priority to help take care of my brother and sister. But then I also was very intimidated by sports because my family didn't watch sports, nobody watched sports, so I literally taught myself golf, tried out for the golf team, did not make the team because I didn't lie about my score. Surprise, surprise, all these dumb bitches lied about their scores, got into the golf team, and then the entire golf team got in trouble that year because the woman who was coaching it served them alcohol underage because everyone was 15. So I
And see,
avoided that.
not making the golf team ended up working in your favor, and
Right,
also, it wasn't a big enough reward for you personally
right.
that you went back for a second try. Like, it's not like you were like, "Man, I'm gonna practice and get better because I really want the reward of playing golf." Nah, man, F that. If I can't be
Because
the best, I don't wanna do it anymore.
exactly, at a casino, if you're in a Vegas casino, let me say this, at a Vegas casino, I would say if you're on the strip, it's a high chance that you're all there for vacation, fun, dick
Yes.
around, good time.
Yep.
If you go to a local casino, you may not see that same level of fun. You will see people who go there with their paycheck and they will get
Strategy.
upset. Like if they're losing, they get mad at the dealer. They get that, to me, is where it's getting problematic, where it's literally a game of chance.
Mhm.
Let's be honest here. And
Yeah.
yes, do I have a preference of regular card shuffler versus automatic? Yes, because there is a fucking difference. So there
And
are
we all
these,
like to control the variables, right? Like,
exactly,
if we can
exactly.
control the variables. Ultimately, we don't control the outcome, though.
Exactly, and so when it starts to get to this point where you're mad, I've seen machines where the fucking shit's broken, or,
It scares me.
and I'm like, "I'm not on that," and I hate to say that because, like, "Oh, at least I'm not on that level," because I know I've done that many a times when I was drinking a lot,
Yes.
and I'm like, "Well, at least I didn't pass out immediately." I passed out
Yeah.
wherever, um, but it's so true where it's like this idea that you if you start to get angry and it's not
Yeah.
fun, and now it's like almost feels like a job because you gotta fucking get
Yes.
back to that level. I feel like
There
for
are
me,
people
that's when
who
I start to tell.
yes.
Yeah.
There's people I played with here. There's a few of them that I still, like, know of their whereabouts because of social media or whatever, but there's a few people I remember from, like, around 2010 that decided they wanted to build up enough winnings locally or in AC to move to Vegas to become professionals. And that
Mhm,
life ain't for everybody. And you just nailed something down for me that made me realize where we have grown to the point where we're not problematic gamblers
mm-mm,
because we have finally accepted that we don't necessarily control the outcome.
mm-mm, and
I'm
even
not gonna
me,
represent for 1 minute that I am gonna go to Vegas and I am going to win no matter what because I have control of that outcome. No, I don't.
exactly,
I'm doing it for
and
fun. If I win, that's cool.
that was the other thing
If I
too, where
don't,
it's like, it's when I feel lucky, how am I gonna deny my luck? My luck will come back, but I also have now realized, like, I may be lucky, but these machines were not lucky today. We gotta
Not
sync
lucky
up
for
and this
me.
wasn't working, and that's fine. And I'm just like, "Fuck, I'm down, whatever." Now my harm reduction, because there would be a point to where I'm like, "I can get this back. I can get this back." So say I go with
There's
300.
always that, right?
Exactly. I go with 300, but then I had like 150 and I'm like, "Okay, if I want to, this is my
Mhm.
emergency fund." But
Yep.
then shit hits the fan immediately. So then I dap into that and then that's gone. And then
Mhm.
at that point, I have to go, "Jordan, can I have one more 20?" And if that does something, great. But if it doesn't, to just have something to leave with. And if it
You
doesn't,
have
we
to give
dip.
your luck 3 chances.
Yes.
I get
Exactly.
it. I get it, though. It makes
Right.
sense to me. I'm like, if
Mhm.
the universe tells me 3 times that this ain't to be, it's not for me.
Thank you. Thank you. This is
That's it. It
exactly
makes
how.
sense.
And again, this is the 3 times rule. Jordan
Yes.
and I did not end up trying for kids because each time we said out loud, planned, whatever, laid off, brother died the next day. That's 3. That's enough for me.
We gave
We're
the
good.
universe 3 chances. You're good.
As time goes on, I'm realizing that a lot of what I've been trying to do with, learning all these things and trying to do all this, and this is a coping technique, and maybe this is bad for me, maybe this is good for me, this is whatever for me. Putting
Yeah.
all these labels, I've realized that I need to be the gauge for me. So something may be objectively bad, a bottle of vodka. Someone may think that's the devil, and I'm just like, that's a bottle of vodka. It's a
Mhm.
matter of, like, how you have a relationship with that thing, and
Yes.
I sometimes feel like in the recovery space, which a lot of the times I don't align with the 12 step piece, is
Right.
the "you're powerless." I don't like that.
You just nailed it. I was thinking the same thing. So the thing that has filled my cup a lot, because there's not a lot of GA meetings. They talk about this mythical GA thing, but I'm not going to GA because I'm not going to AA or NA.
Yeah,
But I got told for a long time when I was trying to fit into the traditional 12-step mold, like I think most people do, because you think recovery looks like something when you get
yeah.
started. And I'm like, I guess it looks like stale coffee in the church basement and it looks like sponsorship and whatever, I guess,
Right,
sure. And it looks like I'm never going to have any fun ever again. Lies, total lies.
right.
But we say something, I was just thinking, like, we say this in Mara, which Mara is my NA, my
Mhm.
AA, my whatever. Mara is Medication Assisted Recovery Anonymous. Awesome, awesome group. Totally got in there kind of by accident. Like I had just been all over the place and was like, I'm going to do alt recovery. And alt recovery is
Yeah.
whatever the hell I feel like doing today. If it's
Mhm.
freaking flying a kite, it's cool. It's if it's buying shoes, it's fine, whatever. I don't care. And I'm going to go to the clinic for my meds and I'm going to talk to my doctor and I'm going to be transparent and I'm tired of lying to people
Yeah,
about this is what recovery is.
yeah.
So and I'm gonna be a peer, obviously, but we talk multiple pathways of recovery and all this good stuff, and I'm like, "I guess I ought to find a path." And I got invited to speak and tell, my own story at a Mara meeting by a local friend during COVID, like, lockdown. It was
Okay,
all on Zoom and stuff, and I was like, "I don't know, man, I don't do 12-step because Mara is technically a 12-step group. There are
okay.
12 steps. We do read them out loud. They are 12 very different steps. They're not even, like they sound
Oh.
familiar, but there's no reference to powerlessness. There's no
Mm.
reference to a higher power. It's more about cultivating inner power and the choices that we make. And we
I
can't
love
change
that.
our past. So why dwell on that? Let's focus on safety. The only requirement for membership is the desire to live safely today. We can't control yesterday. We don't know what's happening
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
That's the only place, but we talk about limited power within us instead of that powerlessness, because it's easy to feel powerless in a world like we're living in today,
Shit,
right?
yeah, mhm.
Easy to feel powerless in a casino. It's easy to
Yep,
feel powerless if somebody put a pile of dope in front of me. Like it's
yep,
gonna powerlessness is kind of subjective.
yeah.
But what I always have is this inner ability to say, that may be for me or that may not be for me. But I don't get to judge for anybody else what's good
Mhm.
for them and what's not. That's where my power ends, is where yours begins. And that's why
Yes.
when you were talking about vodka is all bad and beer is all that whatever, like we say it in Mara, it's not even about the drugs anymore.
No.
It's never been
It's
about the
never.
drugs, y'all. Doesn't matter, and it's not that means it's not about the medication.
Nope.
It's about the judgment and the self-imposed boundaries that we put on
Yes.
us because of somebody else's lens that they see us through,
That is
and
so
that's
spot
where I
on.
love it. I love
And
it
that's
so much. We talk about no judgment of others, nor harsh judgment of ourselves in Mara. We're gonna judge ourselves, it's
I love
inevitable.
that.
Just don't be harsh, be gentle with yourself.
That and with that, do you have people that will show up to a meeting that are potentially not on medicated assisted recovery, but maybe curious or they just like this
Absolutely.
foundation of principles?
Absolutely. Our founder likes to say Mara's for that 1% that, AA and NA don't work for everybody. They
Yeah.
didn't work for me. They didn't work for most of us. We used to feel like the island of misfit toys in a way, and that's kind of cool because in my
Right.
house, like Sawyer will tell you, weird is good. Weird is a
Yes.
good,
It
good
is.
thing.
Mhm.
Family. Weird is high quality stuff.
Agreed.
But people will show up still using their substance.
Yeah.
People will show up not officially using a medication, but maybe using cannabis medicinally or
Yeah.
recreationally,
Yeah.
or not at all. Or maybe some people used to take a medication, but they don't anymore. We don't encourage people to get off medication. You're on
Which
medication
is
as long
great.
as you decide you're on medication. And we say whether or not you're on medication at this point in your journey, all are welcome here. We welcome all with the desire to live safely today.
Yeah. And that's such a beautiful foundation because it really does go back to the person. Again, I'm not shitting if AANA a 12 step has helped you, that's great.
Yeah, it's
For
awesome.
someone like me who I'm now realizing I am a combo of autistic and ADHD, which now explains why I'm so internally, fragmented with certain
Yes.
things and why I don't make sense to my husband also. Because if you throw in I'm the
Same.
eldest daughter, then I really don't make sense because I'm like, I don't want you to tell me what to do, but sometimes I want you to tell me so I don't have to think about it. But you'll have to know the exact time I want that because if you try to do something, I'll be pissed that you're trying to tell me what to do. In regards to meds, I feel like meds has always been stigmatized like, oh, and I stigmatize medication. I don't want to be dependent on a
Right.
thing or fake happy. This was what I also thought. This is gonna make me fake happy. So I did
Mhm.
everything. I'm gonna try everything holistic as fuck as long as I can until I have to move to medication. And
Yep.
even when I move to medication, which is another piece that I have a problem with, because not even medication like the Sublocade you're talking about. You're just talking about
Right.
Vyvanse, fucking Adderall, anything like that.
Adderall. Yep.
There are certain 12-step spaces that would not, and I don't know if that's all of them, maybe some chapters or some
It's
sponsors are a little loosey
they say
goose.
it's not, but it's always the ones I try to stumble into.
One way that someone described ADHD to my husband, it's like it's a 6-lane highway with one exit. And you're constantly figuring out who's going to get through the exit, what idea will get through. And maybe these two
Yeah.
ideas were supposed to go together, but they got stuck. And so, yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So with the autism ADHD piece, I like structure, but I don't. And so I
Yeah.
feel like there are people who like structure, and that's why
Absolutely.
AA, NA, fantastic because they need that structure. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then
Yep.
there's the loosey goosey part of me like, do we need structure though?
Yep. And I'm all over the place and everywhere all at once too, because I like the
Yes.
structure, but I like it on my own terms. And I
Thank
don't
you.
like someone telling me what to do, but I do need an example of how it works or I'm not gonna believe it. So, but damn if
we
Mara
are
didn't give me that.
we are so fucking kindred. It's stupid because like that's exactly my mind frame where it's like, well, I need to see an example so that I know I'm not fucking up. And someone's like, well, there is no example. I'm like, you just want me to wing it? Which
How do
I
I know what
can
not to do, right?
exactly. I still need rules because I'm also the eldest. Throw that in. I'm a rule follower to begin with. That's why I didn't drink
Only
till
child
21.
on my own planet.
So there's different levels of this, but you combine
Mhm.
it with a neurodivergence. You combine it with I like to have fun. You combine it
Uh-huh.
with, I also wasn't appreciated growing up. You combine it with, also I was in an abusive you combine it with a bunch of
Trauma,
fucking
and I like to be unique, and I wanna go my own way, but still have my people.
exactly. And that's the thing is that someone can be like, I've been sober, I've done AA for 30, 20, whatever many years. And that's amazing. I'm the type of person who always looks to evolve, always looks to have better understanding of why I do the things that I do. And
Yeah,
so I think the big piece of recovery that people also don't talk about, but then you'll be judgy about other people, like being open about, like, hey, I'm not in a good spot right now. But a lot of people seem to think that since I don't take substances anymore, I'm truly in recovery. But if you haven't dealt with all the reasons as to why you were taking substances, this can get triggered at any moment. And then you're
you're
in that
just sober.
exactly. And then at that point, it's like, okay, you haven't taken the time to work on the inside because you were so focused on eliminate the
Good work.
substance. But when you focus on the substance as the bad guy, the vodka's the bad guy, fentanyl's the bad guy, all these bad guys, the bad
Mhm.
guys, you're really your internal monologue,
Bad
your
guy's up
critic.
here. It's between your ears,
Mhm,
bud. And
mhm.
then you become the bad guy for somebody else like me that's just looking for the example of how to do it. Please show me how to do it. And
Right.
you're telling me this is the only way I can do it, and I'm not doing it right. I'm like,
Nope, we're done.
why?
Because there's always another option. Calculated risks are like how I
My jam.
operate.
Yes.
Sometimes they're not calculated, and that's why I got a DUI, and that's why, like, shit other shit
Same.
happen.
Same.
But
But risk versus reward. I've known of people who were like, I lost everything I picked up and used last weekend, so I have to like start over. I have to white key tag. Like Mara doesn't measure time per se, like you did hear me. I will measure and honor my recovery the way I honor my recovery. For
yes.
me, it does look like the first day I went to the clinic and finally, like, got brave enough to not just, like, show up there, but drag my sick carcass up 2 flights of rickety steps to their office and decide I was gonna be transparent and say, "Yeah, I do a lot of jacked up stuff. I'd like to try something different." But, like, I told myself when I went there that day, I said, "I'm gonna take this medicine, this pill." It ended up not being a pill, but I'm gonna take this pill for 6 months, and then I'm gonna go back to living my life the way that I want to, and that's
Yeah.
fine. And here we are, like, what, 8.5 years later,
Yeah.
and I took it a few times a day, then I took it once a day, then I now I get a shot and I don't think about it for another,
Yeah.
like, 28 days, and it's amazing, and my body has learned to get the satisfaction, the acceptance, the rewards, mitigate its pain, carry your butt to
Yeah.
the gym, get some endorphins. Like,
Right.
I can juggle all that, and I have my safe space because safety is a basic need. Like, this is
Yes.
something I'm learning in at this point in
Mhm.
my life. Safety is just as important as pants, food,
Mhm.
shelter. The people you have around you have to be safe. And
Yes.
I've felt unsafe while in recovery, and I felt unsafe in recovery spaces until I found one that showed me what safety looked like. And Mars
Mm.
shows me what safety looks like. We don't measure time. We don't do different colored key tags or chips or anything. We have one token that represents today, and it's all of us, which means nobody we read something before the meetings, and each host reads it exactly the same, and it's still fresh in my mind because I just did a meeting earlier today. But nobody is more important or less important than anyone else here. All are welcome here. Like everything about it is that inclusion that I've been craving my whole life, that belonging.
What I find so interesting though, because I've never really thought about until you started to you're like, there's no like tags, there's no whatever, there's no differentiation.
No hierarchy.
For us competitive people, that seems like the antithesis of what we look for. However, flipping it in a psychological way, the fact that you are not looking to compete, that you're not
Right.
whatever, you allow to put your guard down and you can be safe. And that makes sense. And other people would not get that. They would think, oh, you contradict yourself. That's what I will hear often, where it's like, No, I'm not black and white. Like, I don't live in a box. So, yes, can I support you and the fact that you're abstinent or whoever you are every day, and I smoke weed every single day, and I still support what you do? Yeah, I'm a weird contradiction. My brother died of an overdose, and I use drugs daily? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like there's these weird contradictions, but I totally get what you're talking about there because you're not competing with other people to be the best version of you because it's not you. But you are in a space where you're not being seen for how productive you are, how many years, how many months, how many days, how many anything. You can just show up and exist. And I think for us competitive people, the safest place to go is a place where I don't have to compete, which sounds weird, right?
Take the mask off. We
Mhm.
spend our whole lives, like, decorating it up and dressing it up and building the story up to tell in a meeting for someone else. Tell it for you. And that's
Yes.
something as a host of meeting spaces and safe spaces that I often say, "Hey, if you're carrying something heavy, like, we're here to help,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
judge, help." Because heavy shit is less heavy when you have multiple people holding on to it.
Right.
Don't leave with something on your chest, like, and people can speak to their own experience and feel free if they said that you know, I can say out loud there, "That shit makes me wanna shoot dope in my eyeball." Like, it
Right.
makes me want to, like, eat
Mhm.
glass. Like, sometimes by saying the unsafe thing,
Yeah.
we disempower it, like, we take its power
Exactly.
away, and we don't
Exactly.
have to go do the unsafe thing, and in that way, Mara has helped me a lot with the social connection that I used to
Yeah.
seek through gambling.
The 3rd space for people in their 40s is kinda limited, like, there's very
Yeah.
big limitations as to where you can go without kids as an
It is, and if
adult.
you enjoy it, why
Mhm.
should you have to hide it or feel shame about
Exactly.
it? Like, we've spent our whole lives hiding behind masks because of embarrassment or shame, or
Mhm.
because we're told that we don't deserve good things, like, or we're
Yeah.
told that, like, comfort is a privilege. Like,
That that just the whole, like, you have to suffer to really, like, understand the importance of this. No, the fuck I don't.
dude,
Like
and my suffering is so different from some other people's suffering. You don't know if I've
mhm.
suffered or not. Why don't you not worry about that?
Exactly. And that's the other thing too. The judgment piece is the biggest piece. Again, why
Yeah,
if I want to talk about gambling, if I want to talk about smoking weed, if I want to talk about whatever,
right.
if I'm around recovery people, I already know I'm going to get some level of judgment because that's how their brains are trained. Unfortunately, that's fine.
An ethical hierarchy within recovery too toward
Mhm.
people who vocalize being in support of harm reduction, which is why I've started seeking out spaces like Mobilize and Unity and places like that that are very much parallel, maybe not Mara-esque
Right.
in nature, but they
Right.
parallel it with the non-judgment is our code.
Right.
Walk your path, own
Right.
your truth, sit
Right.
in it, like, come real with it or don't come at
Mhm.
all, but if you're different from me, I can see value in your experience, and
Exactly.
that's what the world needs freaking more of, man. Like, don't ever assume that you know somebody else's level of suffering or experience.
No, and then to also then be the determiner of what they deserve based on what they've gone through, like, you didn't earn it, and that's, like, a big piece for me that I'm working through in EMDR is, like, having to earn or, like,
Right.
am I worth what's my worth? But then on top of it, another piece that I uncovered in the last month is, but I also don't deserve better because
Yes.
I didn't put in work. I didn't suffer as bad as someone else. I didn't you know, all those things of, like, I don't think I deserve the top tier, but it's like, yes, I fucking do. Just because I didn't suffer as bad as someone else, but still managed to get to the spot where they are, does not invalidate me. And I feel that,
I don't know.
unfortunately, we live in a culture where half this country thinks you need to fucking earn your existence. And in reality, we
Yeah.
didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to be fucking born, I'll tell you that right now. I would not have showed up to
Mhm.
this fucking place. This place sucks. I wish I known
No,
elsewhere.
hell no. That's
Mm-mm.
a big reason, like, you just struck a really random chord in me, but that's a big reason why I kinda did a career shift lately. As a peer specialist, I've been trying to figure out what leadership looks like within
Yeah.
the greater peer recovery community, right? But there's all this comparison in a lot of
Yes.
in recovery communities and in peer run spaces even, and between peer run organizations, and then community behavioral health, which has a mix of, like, clinicians and
Mhm.
stuff too. Like, it seemed like every peer was getting compared to other peers. Well, their story's like this, but your story's like that, and as I'm trying to get into a leadership space, it felt like I was told more and more what my story should look like and what parts I needed to leave out. Like, I was feeling like I
Yeah.
had to choose between my own truth and do
Yeah.
you want a leg up in this hierarchy? It goes back to the hierarchy thing too. And I think that's why, and this is the only child in me, this is solo, the kid who will go solo gambling in me.
Mhm.
And I would almost always rather blaze a trail
Yes.
than follow in footsteps that aren't a great fit.
Agreed. I completely agree with you. In recovery in general, like my whole thing has been more mental health, like CPTSD. Like I don't relate on the substance level. I relate on the mental health. Like I need to overcome this feeling that I don't deserve things. And so like
Yes.
a lot of my focus with like my business this year is really around professional and personal empowerment. It's this whole idea that when I was in corporate America, I couldn't be who I was. Like, I couldn't be
Yep.
authentic to even when my brother died, they didn't even want me to, like, show that my brother died, I had to walk around and smile. But
You're
when I
supposed to
started
grieve a certain way. Didn't you
exactly,
know that? Right?
exactly, duh. When I started working at Mobilize and there's only 4 of us, so it's like I work with 3 dudes, and then I was like, "Hey, I smoke weed and I drink alcohol, and I know that, like, I'm officially a part of this now. I'm not recovery," and they're like, "We don't fucking care." And I was like, "Are you sure? Like, do you care
Sure.
about what I post?" Like, they're like, "No, who fuck," and mind you, like, it seemed I'm sure that they were like, they get it, but it was also like, "Wait, you don't care? Like, I can say what I
Right.
want, and this isn't gonna come back, 'Oh, I saw your post the other day,' or whatever the fuck it was."
Yeah, you don't wanna have that conversation. Like, those were
Right.
the conversations I was having. It's like, "You should watch what you put on social media." Why?
Right.
For God's
Exactly.
sake.
And it was very empowering for me to A, be comfortable with who I am, B, act
Mhm.
who I am, and I could truly again, that's why I've been with Mobilize for so long is because I am allowed to be myself. These men are like my family now. We're all in the same boat
Love it.
too of like, "Are we doing this right? Do we know what we're fucking doing?" We just have the balls to like, "Let's try it." And then if we fail publicly, then we fail publicly. But I think that's the thing too is that since we are in that space of like if you do AA, cool. If you do harm reduction, cool. If you do this, cool. I think sometimes people will go, well, you don't support 12 step enough, or you don't support harm reduction enough, or you don't do this. And I'm like, we don't claim recovery is what you
No.
look like. And what that's defined by you. We don't claim to be a harm reduction org. We don't claim to be a 12-step org. We don't claim that. If you
Nope.
want to view us as a harm reduction org because you have one weed smoking girl, then that's fine. But
Yeah.
we're never trying to put ourselves in the box of traditional harm reduction, Amara.
Please
We don't try
don't.
to do that. We just want you to know that, like, hey, it's pretty fucking cool with all 4 of us. We want to hang out. You know what I mean? Like, and we'll try to
Yeah.
create content that really kind of supports that.
And that's what I think draws people in because I you threw me right back to when I first heard your name
Hmm.
through, the fantastic Tom Jackson from,
Oh, mhm.
Virginia.
Yeah. Hi,
Tom. I
Tom. Are you
love me some
listening? You're not
Tom.
listening. I don't know.
He's fantastic, and he was
Mhm,
like, "Hey, you should join the family caucus," and I'm like, "Tom, why?" Like, at that point in time, I'm pretty sure my mom had passed and I still wasn't a huge
mhm.
fan. I was like, I don't really even like my family." Like, what am I doing here? Like, family kinda
Right.
cost me a lot of trauma, but I love them now, but, that's a lot of work on me.
Mhm.
He's like, "No, you would love chocolate," and it's true, but, like, the fact that you were able to grow that way from family caucus, National
Right.
Family Caucus to the roles that you're in now and, like,
Mhm.
the different it's not even different masks, and it's definitely not different hats, although the disco cowboy hat did sell me
It is
on
a
a
different hat.
lot.
I will s
Ugh, love it so much. I was
I
like,
love
"That's so nice."
I love a physical different hat from everyone else.
It's amazing. I'm actually going to s I might adopt that with
Yep,
my
there you go.
Shanti
I love it. I love that.
necessity, but also fun. But the fact I think about the people that I look up to in this field on, like, a national level,
Yeah.
they're not the ones who are I'm probably gonna catch crap for this too, but big book thumping or this pathway is the only way. They're not the ones who are claiming that there is one way to do the stuff, right?
Mm-mm.
Sometimes they're the ones and this is where I feel like I'm almost, like, at a point where I'm breaking up with the word recovery, or at least we're on a
Yeah.
hiatus maybe
Yeah.
too, or we need a new word. I think there was
Yeah.
someone talking about we need a new word the other day, and I was like, "For
It's
real, because
fucking
recovery's
healing.
kind of been co-opted."
Yeah.
Healing.
It
That's why I
Mhm.
say my healing journey, my
Yes, me too.
wellness,
Mhm.
because health. How about just health? Like, I work embedded in EMS now, like, so it's like mental health, substance use, all health, public health, it's all healthcare, y'all. Like,
It
it's
is.
all under the same thing, and the people that I look up to in this movement of whatever we wanna call it,
Mhm.
they're not the ones who are the expert in this or that. They're not the ones saying Suboxone's better than methadone. They're not the
Yeah.
ones who judging or looking down on anybody for anything. They're the ones who say welcome. They're the ones
Yep.
who open the door. They're the ones who and this is something cool about gambling too that I really liked was teaching someone the ins and outs or like the secret
Yes.
code to
Love.
I love that piece of
Me
passing on the
too.
knowledge. The people like the ones that I was listing earlier, like you, like Tom, like
Mhm.
Ryan Hampton, like the ones
Yeah.
who are just accessible, available, Chad, Stephanie in North
Yeah.
Carolina, like all these people who are just like I used to get stars in my eyes. I'm like, "Ooh, these people are so famous and cool, and they founded this and they started that, and
Uh-huh.
they're like the father of the revolution and the mother of the whatever." And
Right.
these are people who at some point life dealt them a shit hand. And
Mhm.
they came back from it spectacularly in a way that loves all of us differently. Like,
Yeah.
and they're inclusive and they love us and they aren't judging books by their cover. They're not excluding people based on a certain criteria.
Right.
That's the type of people that I think motivate me. A, they're willing to share their craft. B, which is awesome. And C, it makes the rooms feel not the rooms like the
Yeah.
12-step rooms, but it makes the rooms that I'm invited to or sitting in or speaking with or learning from, it makes those rooms bigger and broader and richer with their experience. I don't think it's ever a, "Oh, you're distracting from the mission." It's a,
Mhm.
the mission is better because you're a part of it.
I feel
Yeah.
that, the people that I look up to, the people that I and I'm not gonna lie, when I met you, intimidated. When I hear about other people through other people, I'm intimidated. I promise you, everyone I have met through Mobilize, intimidated because I am not in substance recovery. I'm also not working in the, like, I've never been a peer clinical blah, blah, blah. I don't have that experience. I have 15 years of insurance experience, if you wanna talk about that, and I'm a family member. So anytime I met people in the space who are like, "Oh, this person's really good at this thing or that thing or that thing," you all these multiple people that I had met at Mobilize, whatever, DC or, Vegas or wherever I met people, the whole time
It was definitely
I was
DC 'cause, oh, yeah.
I was just totally, I was intimidated by everyone, and if anyone's like, "Oh my god, hey, like, I wanna meet you," I'm like, "Oh my god, you actually read my shit?" And I'm like, I don't think of myself in any way, shape, or form that I am intimidated by everyone that I meet because I still well, that's why I'm going to therapy, because I also am just like, you have a knowledge and everything that I don't have, and I'm so curious about that, and I think the reason I feel intimidated is because I want to, like, obviously be friends and get to know you more and blah, 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 but I also don't want you to think this is transactional. 'Cause I have
Right.
found in this space, things can be very
A lot.
transactional. So once people start to
Absolutely.
know your name more, and I just say that in quotes because
Yeah.
just my name will show up on a fucking email or whatever,
No.
I will think that people think I'm transactional because like, oh, now that
Right.
I
Right.
and I experienced that this past year with just getting random fucking hate mail like, "Oh, well, I used to volunteer and I did the work you're doing for free, so you're not really like an organizer." And I'm like, "Bitch, did you know if you don't know me because I did volunteer work my entire life until this point. So eat
Is
balls."
that like a rite of passage when you finally do, like, start living your own
Apparently.
truth that somebody has to go, "Mer, you
Everyone
mer."
has to tell you you haven't earned it, and that's why that's such a
Yeah.
big thing to me. So anytime I meet anyone in the recovery space, I automatically have a fear that they're gonna think I didn't earn the fact that I work with Ryan Hampton. No offense, Ryan. But, like, I don't look at him at Ryan Ham I look at it as Ryan,
Like,
you know? I look at this
yeah.
person that I fucking randomly send random texts to. But it's like I think that's the perception of like when we start to look at other people and like I admire that quality that person has and I admire like you when you do workshops you are so fucking engaging and you do such a good job like
Oh,
with your
thanks.
acronyms and all these things you do such a great job when you're teaching people that it's so easy to understand. And so like everyone I meet like I am so observant of these like details that you you know we may not be known for this but I'm like fuck you make people feel seen and those are like the
Yeah.
people that I fucking love. So I wanted to just tell you that because I'm not gonna be like,
Oh,
oh, cool, you thought I was cool, thanks. No, but I genuinely and even like when we were in Asheville and I was like, oh my God, I was like, I think someone wants to meet me. And I was like telling Jordan, there's this person, Robyn, and I think we're gonna go out to dinner. And I think a couple other people are gonna show up. Cause again, I showed up by myself. I can't went to Asheville with no one. And so I had no idea what I was fucking doing there. Other than to be like, "Well, that's cool.
right.
It's a harm reduction conference." And I think at the time, one of my friends was gonna go, and then, like, within, like, the month, she was like, "I can't make it." I
I
was like,
forgot.
"Well, fuck.
Damn.
I guess I'll go." But my point is that, like, I always want to try and express gratitude, especially if I talk to people one-on-one like this, and express the gratitude that I have because you are one of the people who has always made me feel, like, welcome or safe or, like, you're not gonna call me a fucking sellout or you're not gonna call me what you know what I mean? Like, I think that people assume my confident nature means I'm arrogant, but I just have gone through enough shit in life that I know what to do now, and I know who the fuck I am, and I know that can be intimidating to people, but it's always so nice when people, regardless of if they feel freaked out or not, extend the same kindness, and I feel that you have always extended the same kindness, and I've seen you extend the same kindness to other people, and I just wanna say thank you for always being kind, and because I know your battery's
Thank
gonna die,
you.
and I wanted to tell you this before the battery died.
That's okay. Thank you. I appreciate that because I would rather receive that than any other, like, accolade or
Yeah.
award or recognition or anything. That's the stuff that matters today, right? Like,
Yes.
is making people feel
Today,
seen.
especially. Yes.
Exactly. Right now, we have to do that. And I'm gonna start this story if I don't get to finish it. You
Yep.
have to, like, but you inspired me in DC. You made me think of this one thing, and this has become like a mantra in my life because I do still kick my butt over one thing in life that I didn't do in DC. I don't think I told you this story, but I was watching everyone in DC. It was also the last time that I, held space with Chantel, who
Mhm. Yeah.
rest in power,
Yeah.
amazing. That's someone that I watched from a distance for years in the local recovery community and just took notes and took cues from on how to make people feel
Yeah.
included and seen and the mattering piece. But that whole mobilize in DC was an exercise in mattering, and I kicked my own butt out of one opportunity, and as a result of that, I will never miss an opportunity to be seen or make somebody else feel that same gratitude that you just showed, which is reciprocated so much. Um, and it's because everyone was so cool about it, and I just got inside my own head. You know, I didn't meet Macklemore, right?
No, I didn't know that. Honestly, I
I
felt like
flunked
everyone
out.
had one-on-one time, and I had to be a part of a group massive thing. I was like, "Cool, that's really great." But I'm so glad everyone got one-on-one time.
I got inside my own head and went outside and basically had my own panic attack and was like, "Who the fuck?"
Yeah.
You don't need to be there. Let those people have their moment in the sun." And then everyone's showing their pictures, and I was like, "Oh, man, you know what? I might have actually, like, not been a royal pain in his butt or, like, ruined his day if I'd have stood in that line." Like, I had
Yeah.
convinced this is how we get in our own way still
Yes.
after X years in recovery. Like, we're all on the same ground, kid.
Right.
Like, we're all on the same ground, and in a space like that, like, I had no reason to be getting in my own way. Sometimes we just have a
Yeah.
day where we can't help but kick our own ass.
Of
Well,
course.
I did that, and I feel like that was such a powerful Mobilize was such a powerful event anyway because it was your kind of debut. Like, you'd been doing this stuff, but this one was
Yeah.
your Mobilize. And
Yeah.
you talk about taking notes and watching when other people do workshops. I'm not always looking at content. I couldn't
Mhm.
tell you what somebody said 10 minutes later, but I can tell you how they said it and how I felt when they did.
Yeah.
And you were in your power at that event, and Chantel was in her power with that
Yeah.
gorgeous black and white dress,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
everybody was just owning their own stuff, and Rosie, powerful,
Yeah.
Joseph, always
Yes.
powerful,
Love.
huge, huge, huge
Love
fangirl
him.
of Joseph,
Yeah.
always, and I think that I thought, "The hell are you doing here? What do you bring to the table?" But I learned so much from the people who were shining so freaking bright, and then since then, I have realized that, number 1, I'll never kick my butt out of an opportunity to meet Macklemore ever again,
Yes.
and number 2, I am honored to hold space with people like that,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
I learn if I ever make someone feel the way that you just described, it's because I've learned from the best.
Mm. Yeah. I feel like being seen, I know it's a fucking whatever saying, "To be seen is to be loved." It's true.
That's
Like,
everything.
when you can give someone the generic ass compliments, but when you go like, "Oh, I really love your work." What fucking work? What, name it off, weirdo.
What do I do
But
exactly?
when someone goes, "Hey, you were the first person that actually like for example, the first OG Mobilize I went to, the person that was in the first Zoom room, I'm still friends with her on Facebook. And again, I'm like, you are the first person that made me feel that I was allowed to be there. And that's all I needed was one person. And so like again, as we close out, because I know you're about to or something, um, I find that so much of like recovery in reality is being able to let people be themselves. And then you don't have to take away whatever bad stuff, but you realize you are in control of your own shit. And the best thing that you can do now that you are in a healing spot, and no one's ever healed, now that you're in a healing spot, is to share that kindness, share whatever you can and not make it harder for that person because you know how fucking hard it was to get here, you know? So why do that to them? Why in this world? Why make it hard?
My best friend, Robin, that was with
Mhm.
me in, Unity
Yes.
at
Mhm.
Unity, um we have a saying that pops up in a lot of our workshops, and we keep it popping up, and we even elaborate on it sometimes. But someone held the door open for us. Like, leadership
Yes.
is not what rooms you occupy or what doors you walk through, it's holding the door open for somebody else to come through. And
Yes.
then when they come through it, standing there till they get through, don't let the door hit them in the
Nope.
backside. Let them hold their space, and
Exactly.
I it's just it is a sacred honor to be able to do that for each other in spaces like this,
Yeah.
on big stages, in small stages,
Agreed.
wherever you go, like, we just need to hold the door open for each other more.
I love that.
If you know something, share it. If you don't, help somebody else find it.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's a perfect way to end this because we don't really have time because we have a battery running out. But
Right.
I want to thank you for taking the time out to sit in your car in the middle of snowstorm time.
No worries.
And
It's normal.
um I had a great time talking with you. We had a whole list of shit we could talk about, so I honestly will have you back at some point so we can talk about
Alright.
other things. But I want to thank you for just taking the time out to talk with me tonight. And yeah, so whoever's listening, another episode will be coming at some point. but I'm glad you stayed and listened. Robin, thank you. All of her information, which I will eventually get from you, like a bio, all that,
Sure.
will be in the show notes. And then along, if you want to watch the video of this, the link will be in the show notes as well. I should have told you that at the beginning though, because it's the end. Anyway, either way, I love you. Thank you for spending time
You
with
so
me.
much.
And yeah. Okay. Bye.